everyone, and welcome. Today, we want to share with you some great business strategies and foundational elements to consider when embarking on a digital transformation. My name is Greg Cunningham. I'm an enterprise account manager on Imagine's PLM team with a focus on helping companies digitally transform their business. I've been in the design and manufacturing industry since the early days of CAD in both technical and sales roles, and I've had the good fortune to see technology evolve to where it is today. I'm joined today by Tim Sealscott, who has similar tenure, came from industry, and now focuses his team on helping our customers with design and process automation. I'm going to start by giving you a brief background of the relationships between our divisions, how we work together to drive successful technology projects. I'll also position why we think business process management is an opportunity for our customers. Then I'll introduce the Fusion platform. In the latter half, Tim will give you a real-world experience of how the technology works. So first, I want to let you know a little bit about our company and why we are talking with you today about digital transformation. Rand Worldwide is a family of technology companies. We create, acquire, resell, and implement technology for our customers to drive better employee and customer outcomes. We have an extensive reach with more than 40 offices and over 400 employees. Our specialized sales teams are over 140 strong, while our engineering group has more than 120 subject matter experts with competency in all major engineering disciplines. So here's a simple look at our footprint, working inside out. Rand is our parent. We're a publicly traded company under RWWI. Rand Sim is a simulation provider and consultant. Rand 3D works with customers to document, facilitate, and train on a wide range of software solutions. Ascent's expertise is in documentation, which spans from training manuals to product guides to writing company standards. And Imagine is the largest and the best Autodesk partner in North America. Then on the outside, you see our strategic partnerships. Additionally, we have our own set of brands. Productivity Now, Imagine Pulse, which Tim will be showing today, Clarity, and our Vault utilities. A little bit about our history. Rand started this journey back in 1981, over 40 years ago. Since that beginning, we've acquired several businesses and formed many strategic partnerships. Rand started working with PLM back in the early 90s. Imagine started working with Autodesk PLM in 2013. In 2019, Imagine acquired Advanced Solutions, combining two of Autodesk's largest partners into one. Coincidentally, Advanced Solutions, led by Jason Barnett, the VP of Manufacturing in PLM, also started working with Autodesk PLM in 2013. Jason developed a dedicated team of professionals with a sole focus of helping companies of all sizes digitally transform their business. These teams are now combined, still led by Jason, and follow the core values and principles set forth in 2013. The key point I want you to take away from this slide is that we leverage the experience built by these teams and partnerships and have a proven track record of successfully completing many complex and transformational projects for our customers. Our professional service team is unmatched in the Autodesk North American channel. So being a large technology system integrator is important. But here are a few things that make us uniquely qualified to help drive a digital transformation. Our sales and service teams are focused into cross-functional groups such as advanced manufacturing, data management, product lifecycle management, building, construction, and our support, customer success, customer advocacy team, and renewal team back us up. We have a business consulting and solution architecture group that can help you design and build your engineering system of the future. And we have a dedicated customer engagement team that helps align technology and, as needed, secures the appropriate resources within the Rand family. In short, we help our customers minimize the risk in executing complex technology projects that enable digital transformation. So Tim will be showing you some powerful system integration today. I want to point out that he'll be using Imagine's Pulse platform to quickly and accurately move data between systems. Matt Mason and the Imagine development team created Pulse in response to some of the problems they encountered with other integration systems on the market. Pulse application has pre-built connectors that are set up and ready to configure. And we can build custom connectors for any application that may not be listed. Now I'd like to talk about some of the reasons to leverage technology to streamline and govern your data. Here's why Tim and I are trying to convince you today that there is value in putting data and process at the center of your organization. And in doing so, these are the types of outcomes you can achieve with the Fusion platform. Speak to one example, which is improving collaboration. Teams using a shared platform will more easily be able to exchange data. They'll have clarity and transparency into who is doing what throughout a project. And with a central source of organized data, internal and external stakeholders can more easily collaborate on designs. I'll touch on one other point, reduce non-value-added processes, on the next slide. What this chart is saying is that the stakeholders involved in product and project related processes spend about half their week, or 20 hours, contributing to product related and project related process and workflows. However, 70% of that time, roughly 14 hours, is wasted just trying to find the right data, recreating data, or updating others so they have the right information to make informed decisions. When a collaboration platform is used, here's some benefit ranges that we have seen in our customer implementations. Finding data is reduced by up to 75%. The entire organization and those you choose to let in from the outside get real-time access to a powerful search engine. For reporting and tracking, you can measure and manage departmental and enterprise efficiency by utilizing easy-to-use real-time reporting tools. And manual data entry can be reduced by as much as 95%. Automatic data integration, which Tim will be showing today, updates key business systems in minutes instead of human, error-prone, and time-consuming data entry. So we looked at outcomes and benefits over these last couple slides. This slide represents the chaos that many manufacturers encounter that have not adopted a corporate collaboration platform. Although products and services may differ in complexity from one company to another, they all share a common need to generate, manage, and relate information. Many companies we work with have done a great job in developing systems and tools that address needs at the individual or departmental level. However, information is vital to product or project development across the entire enterprise. Without an enterprise collaboration solution to help generate, manage, and relate the information, it often tends to get lost, misinterpreted, or simply unused since the data is typically managed in multiple systems, databases, emails, spreadsheets, attachments, even paper. And as product and project portfolios continue to grow and change, the current business environment continues to challenge us all. This increased complexity will continue to have a negative impact on cost competitiveness and lead time for manufacturing companies. I also think that the new generation of workers don't want to work in despair of broken systems. They want instant access to reliable information so they can make immediate positive impacts on the company, product, projects they're involved in. We all know skilled professionals are hard to find. There's more than 5 million manufacturing jobs unfilled globally. So there's truly a need to leverage technology to eliminate manual, labor-intensive tasks. So this is where the Fusion platform comes in. The value of Fusion for many companies can be huge. It provides the whole organization with one common place to go for all product, project, and service-related information. So it gives everyone full insight that has access to the platform. It also removes waste from processes by making them more efficient. And through easier access to that information, organizations can focus more on value-added tasks and less time spent on wasted activities. Plus, it removes the need to duplicate data across multiple systems, eliminating unnecessary work by ensuring everyone is accessing the same up-to-date information. Fusion platform really is the foundation for a successful digital transformation. So let's talk about the attributes of the platform. Notice that I'm not talking about a software application. Fusion truly is a platform for company growth through process maturity over time. Autodesk Fusion Managed is uncomplicated. It's a true SaaS cloud-based solution that provides anytime, anywhere access with an intuitive, easy-to-use web experience. It's accessible, gives you a central source of product-related data, multi-CAD integrations, and an open API to bring in upstream and downstream data from other business systems like ERP, MES, and CRM. And it scales with your business. You can start with one process at a time and easily expand as you need to. Everything we just talked about in terms of being uncomplicated, accessible, and scalable is how we provide these capabilities, how they're delivered. The three major capabilities are data management, bill of material management, and change management. These primary capabilities basically define the core. Other capabilities such as quality, supply chain, and new product introduction are really wrapped around and added to the core. Apologies. Beyond the core, Fusion also includes additional processes that you can install conveniently from the App Store. The Fusion 360 Manage App Store is a collection of ready-to-implement workspaces that contain business processes and templates available at no additional cost. You'll benefit from industry best practices with pre-configured fields, tags, and workflows, and they can easily be enabled and tested before going live. Or they can be copied or cloned and turned into completely new processes and workflows. As most of you have experienced, software has evolved over time. So where are we now? Today we have the cloud products on the left, such as Prodsmart, Fusion 360 Managed with Upchain, and Fusion 360. The intent is to integrate them all into the industry cloud called Fusion. And then traditional desktop applications like Vault, Inventor, as well as third-party applications will connect to the platform to join the industry cloud experience. This truly keeps your critical business process and data at the center, regardless of where the data is created. I hope this gives you a good foundation. Tim will now walk you through a real-world application of the platform. Tim, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Greg. So what I'd like to do today is kind of show you a real-life, real-world scenario of using the Fusion 360 platform to digitally transform your data through using our cloud-based products on the Fusion platform. So what I want to do is actually walk you through a new product introduction, and then using our PDM system as Upchain and the data authoring tool Inventor, work you through a day in the life of an engineer or a project that we could use using this platform. So right now, as you can see on my screen, I've got our Fusion 360 Manage application shown on my screen, and I'm on the home page. So the home page can be configured to show charts or reports of existing data, live data for that fact, on reporting back to me information about whatever projects or whatever workspaces I want to view data on. So for example, I'm going to use a project-based NPI process that involves project tasks. So during the life cycle of the actual project tasks are assigned to assignees to perform certain actions, and I can tell things about what workflow state my tasks are in, which ones are open, which ones are closed, which ones are high priority, which ones are late, which ones are on time, and actually show this right here on my dashboard. So the dashboard is customizable per user, and just by clicking on a link, for example, I can just click on that report and actually view it in full screen and see where we're actually at as far as the status of my project. And again, this is live data. So as tasks get complete and I open or refresh my screen, this report will automatically update. I also have a list, if I'm assigned tasks to do on my dashboard, my outstanding work. So I can actually see here what the due dates are for my task and if they're out of date and who they're actually assigned to, or who assigned them to me for that fact. And then I can create a list of bookmarks. So if I want to bookmark, just like you would bookmark something in Edge or in Chrome. So specific items or workflows inside of Pulse or inside of Fusion 360 Manage that I want to actually go to a lot, or if I actually access them a lot, I can bookmark them, and then a list of recently viewed items. So after that little brief introduction, let's go ahead and get started in a workflow. So as Greg said, right, Fusion 360 Manage is our product lifecycle management system. So there are all different types of processes or life cycles that I can manage inside of Fusion 360 Manage. And the one that I want to focus on today is our NPI process. So my task today is to do a new product introduction, and it's all based around creating a new item based off of a specification that we have for this radio controlled trowel. So specification that I have is telling me that I need to create a radio controlled trowel that finishes 4,000 square feet, 4,000 square feet a day, and a kind of a description of how we want it to work and some of the specifications around it, some basic specifications that I'm going to use as the basis to create my design with. So if I go back to Fusion 360 Manage, I've kind of already started a project that is structured around introducing this new product design based around a phase gate process. So this is completely configurable, and out of the box, we set up these phase gates so that we have different gates or milestones that our project has to go through, and certain people have to approve it in order to make it to production. So for example, I've actually already started this, and as part of the project, I can create templates that actually kind of set out like predefined approvers, the different project phases and how long they should take, who the required approvers are for each gate, each stage gate. So this is information that can be templatized along with specific tasks that need to be created as we enter the different stage gates and how many days left I have to complete them. And these can actually serve as milestones. So again, right, by standardizing this, creating different templates that have different tasks involved for whatever type of project it is, whoever the approval groups are, right? I can create these templates, have them automatically filled out for the tasks that are required to complete the task for each stage gate, or I can add them on the fly, if you will, right? And then this is to get me so that I can create this new specification, which I've actually attached to my project, and I can view it from the project right inside of my NPI process. So let's start. So to start this project, I'm going to have to actually complete the tasks in the NPI process. So my first step is to actually create this project or complete this project task, which is to create a preliminary bill of material. So by clicking on the link, this actually takes me to another item, right? An individual project task that's been assigned to me, right, to complete, that I'm going to go ahead and complete this bill of material, and it has its own workflow. So as I complete these tasks, right, as the tasks are completed, it's going to refer back to the NPI, and once all the tasks are complete, it'll move it to an approval state inside the NPI process to the gate called G1 that people can go back now, or assignees or the approval team can go back and actually review each task and make sure that they agree it's done. And then if they accept it, it will move on to the next step as far as the NPI process, which you can imagine, right, today how we do this, right? Many companies just do this all through email. They do it through word of mouth. You've got the same person who actually goes through and assigns or approves or releases everything. This is a more standardized approach, which actually we can have records of, create reports and put those in our dashboard and actually see a real-time, real-life view of the status and the health of our project, or what stage it is, or the completeness of our project. So I'm going to go ahead, move my workflow forward. So I'm going to choose this transition that will confirm the task and put it in an in-work state, which now will allow me to actually create the bill of material. So the way that we're going to create the bill of material is with our authoring tool inside of Inventor. So all this means is that I got an Inventor assembly that I've created. That's the preliminary design that I want to use for this new automatic trowel design. So I've created the design, and with Upchain, right, I'm going to log into the tenant. And by the way, when I actually create the project inside of Upchain and move it to the specification stage or milestone in my NPI process, our integration tool automatically kicks off and creates a new project in Upchain. So if you notice, the name of this project is called Upchain Connector. And if we go back and look at the name of the project that I have inside of Fusion 360 Manage, right, it's the same name. So as I moved it to the specification state, it automatically kicked off, this transition automatically kicked off the creation of the project inside of Upchain. So that now I can go ahead and build the project inside of Upchain, and we'll actually look at its bill of material. So by opening up, designing Inventor, hitting the refresh button, you'll see that it actually extracts items and BOM structure based off of how I've actually designed the product inside of Inventor. So I've kind of done the work already, built the bill of material, I've got the items created, and the assembly is checked out. So what I'm going to do now is actually check this back into Upchain. So I'm using Upchain as my PDM system. Any documents, drawings, I should say, that are associated and have the same name as the assembly get picked up, and they'll be added to Upchain. We'll give it a little bit of time here to check in all the files. So now we can see they changed from the lock that was in front of the item in the green color to black, bold. So now we actually have these items in Upchain, right? If I go to my web app, we'll open up the Upchain connector project, look at the bill of material for the Upchain connector, and the items have been added inside of Upchain. So what we'll do here, right, is actually, this is our bill of material that we've extracted. Here we can actually see some of the properties and metadata that were created and brought over from Inventor that we can view in Upchain and manage the bill of material. We can view the items once visualizations are made. So you can see right here that we're getting conversion in process. So once these are finished, I'll be able to view the assembly right from Upchain and its drawing. Just look at one of the nuts, for example. So here's a real world view. We've actually get other translations that are created down here at the bottom. Right, you can see that we have an STL file that's been created, a PNG file, a step file for drawings. We can have it actually create PDF files. And my goal here is actually to get this bill of material released now. So right now you can see it's in a development state. So by creating a change request, setting a workflow and saving it, by working it through this change request workflow, we can get the items of the bill of material items released. And then once the item is released, our Pulse integration picks up and actually creates the items inside of Fusion. So if we look in Fusion 360 Manage, we'll notice that we have this assembly that's been added. Its PDM state is released. And any of the models, like a step file which was created during the integration, are viewable inside of Fusion 360 Manage. And we've got a bill of material now for our process that we had in our NPI process that now can be used in other processes inside of Fusion 360 Manage. So for example, one of the items that, or one of the things I want to do is, let's say, as part of this process, right, we've got the entire engineering BOM, all 52 items. I'm going to release one of the items in here so that our procurement department can go ahead and start ordering some components as part of this NPI process. So what this little sub-assembly here, which is kind of like a servo motor, I want my procurement department to actually get started and start ordering this, so that this is like one of those long lead items that I want, not only to order to see if we have anything in inventory and what it would cost. So again, using our digital transformation platform, using Fusion 360 Manage, right? All of my procurement, all of my inventory information is stored in NetSuite. So as part of my workflow, what I'm going to do is actually release this item from my bill of material. And the way we do that in Fusion 360 Manage is by creating a change request or another change order inside of Fusion 360 Manage. So what I'm going to do is create a change order, give a little note, and again, like we did with the NPI process, we have templates that we can choose from that automatically set up task and approval processes that need to take place in this change order. So I'm going to choose, you can see the list I have, I'm going to choose the mechanical change template with my name on it. So what that'll do, it'll automatically set me up as the assignee and the approver as part of this change order process to get these items released and inventory checked. And what we want to do is go ahead and set a life cycle, which will release to production, which will change this revision to an A. So it created a new change order for me with that item. And what I want to do is actually, this is an assembly. So I want to bring all of its children across so that I can get all the items that make up the bill of material of this assembly for this servo motor. And I want to set the life cycle. So I want all these also to be released to production, which will change all the items in this bill of material to a revision of A. So now we've got the life cycle set, what revision we're going to be updating to. I've got the process built into the change order, right? This is, again, highly or customizable, configurable, that will get or work through these different states and approval processes to get our item released. So the first step would be to check these tasks. So as part of that template I choose, right, to get the change order completed, these tasks need to be completed, or just a stage gate that I can check. So just save some time, right? I'm going to remove a couple of these tasks. These tasks came from my template. Right? So I'm going to remove just to save some time. And the one task I need to do is update the drawings. So what I'll do here is actually set a target date or start date and a target completion date, which will add a milestone to my Gantt chart as far as this ECO goes, and another task that I can report on my dashboard, actually see the status of all the tasks that's going to require that are assigned to people to get a project complete. So here I'll just go ahead and submit it to the submitted state, which means the ECO is in progress. Transition it so it initiates tasks. So what this will actually do is create the task that I set up on my task planning tab. You'll notice that I can't move the workflow forward. All right, so I can't move it to the results reviewed until I go to the task that was created as part of this workflow. So again, a new task in another workspace that has its own approval process that will allow me to update the bill of material or the drawings or whatever the task is. So what I do is simply acknowledge the fact that I've got the task. And again, these notifications or these assignments, right, they'll automatically notify whoever's assigned to do it through an email, which has hyperlinks in it that I can click on, right, and actually open up Fusion 360 Manage to this exact task, and then I can actually see the status and move the workflow forward to its completed. This will also show up in my assigned tasks, if you remember on the dashboard that I showed you. So if I have any assigned tasks, they'll show up and they'll show there until I actually complete the task. So once the task is completed, right, if I go back to the change task, I did all the work that was necessary, and look at the context processes, we'll see that we actually have that description I typed in. So when we actually create the ECO and the task, we'll know what to do. I have a hyperlink back to the change order, so I can quickly jump to it and you notice the task disappears from my task planning list. It'll actually go into the schedule, so you'll actually see the task that I did and when it was completed. So the start and the end date, it's green, so it means it's completed. And if I go to the approval workflow, it automatically moved from the perform change milestone to the results reviewed milestone. So by completing the task, it won't move that workflow forward until the tasks are complete. So now that the tasks are complete, I can submit this to a change control review board that requires, for example, unanimous approval. So there could be multiple approvers, and everyone that's in the list will have to approve the changes that I made to the bill of material, to the items in order to get it released. So by approving that workflow, it'll move it to a release date, which in turn, any of the affected items that are on my change order will automatically change the revision out to a Rev A. So this is the actual release process by indicating that the gate that we moved into is a controlled gate with this little gear on it, meaning that our items are now released. And now to actually complete my task by checking the inventory items, I'm going to push this item to ERP, which again, using our Pulse tool. So here I'm actually going to show you what's happening in Pulse. So this is Pulse is our cloud-based integration tool. So I'm switching to it and actually logging into it so I can actually, as an administrator, see what processes are running. So you can see that this FLC ECO to NetSuite task or sequence was added to Pulse. It's queued up now for processing. So what it's going to do, it's going to take all the items that are on the affected item, and if they are in NetSuite, it will update whatever the values, the revision, whatever metadata that I want to update inside of NetSuite. I can create a bill of material in NetSuite from the items that are on the affected item tabs on the change order, add those to Upchain. Or in my case, what I want to do is actually check to see if one exists. If one exists, I want to read in its inventory information so that I can get the cost of the item and how many inventory items I have in stock. If there aren't any, right, if this doesn't exist, it'll actually add it to the inventory item list where I can then go to NetSuite and edit the item, then update the inventory information, for example, right? So this is all the whole idea of that we're doing this digital transformation where we're authoring things instead of having to manually input into these different systems. We're letting the integration do that. So we've got an authoring tool, and where it needs to change, it changes and sends the information to whatever back office or whatever application, right, that information is used for and needed. Traditionally, I know a lot of companies that go in and they'll actually just do everything manually, right? They'll export things to spreadsheets, importing in. Problem with that is that, it's only up to date to, as far as your last import. And this is all built into our process. So as things are released, we're automatically synchronizing or automatically updating our items so that the information is fresh and it's always up to date. And it's actually reading it from where it's being authored or where the appropriate information is being created. So you notice my sequence is now finished. So if I go back to my change order, what will happen now, since Pulse is finished and it completed successfully, it'll automatically transition my change order to the submitted to ERP state. And if I look at some of the items that we created, so let's go back to the affected items. Let's look at the top level assembly. And then on the item itself, we have a section for ERP. So right here, it updated this section as far as our Pulse integration and grabbing the information from NetSuite. You'll see that it actually read in, gives me the NetSuite URL link, how many on-hand quantity items I have for this particular item and what the cost is per item, and a hyperlink. So if I click on it, I can log into NetSuite and view the item. Or update the item, right? So like I said, if we were missing some of the information that's necessary, like the purchase price or the on-hand quantity levels, we can update it inside of NetSuite. Right, last but not least This is just an example of a workflow using a process that's built into Fusion 360 Manage. But like Greg said, we have multiple different workflows that we can take advantage of once we get a bill of material. So the bill of material is kind of the currency that manufacturing companies use to communicate design, drawings, what to purchase, corrective action reports we do on items, quality checks we do on items. So all these different types of processes, right, we can actually build around the bill of material inside of Fusion 360 Manage that leverage the bill of material that we just created. So as far as quality management processes, you can see we have workflows like for non-conformance, corrective action reports, inspection plans, RMAs. As far as RFQs, right? The sales process, getting quotes from suppliers that all revolve around the BOM that we can integrate with our supplier chain. We can give them access to the items inside. And if they're, if they request a quote from them, they'll get a link that they can come to inside of our Fusion 360 Manage and view the drawings and produce a quote for me. All different types of workflows that come out of the box, created from scratch, right? And Greg actually kind of showed this here before, this idea of the Fusion 360 Manage App Store, where there are some processes or workflows that are available that I don't necessarily have installed or set up in my system, but are free, right? They come with Fusion 360 Manage. You just have to download and install them and set up permissions on them. And then you can add different other workflows that I don't have shown here. So hope that makes sense, right? Hope you see kind of paint an idea, the picture, how we can share data across applications through our Fusion 360 Manage platform, and the idea that how we can share data and digitally transform it. So we have one import or one insertion point, one source of truth that we can share across multiple applications. So I'd like to go ahead and turn it back over to Greg. Greg, maybe you can see if we've got any questions.
Yeah, thank you, Tim. That was excellent. Very much appreciated. Yeah, let's see what questions we have. And yeah, I just want to thank everyone for attending today. And hopefully we covered a lot of information, a lot from a conceptual stage. Digital transformation is a reality that is taking place, across multiple industries, but in specific the manufacturing industry. And over the last couple of decades, the manufacturing industry has really become the leader in generating data, and that's fantastic. But what do you do with it? How do you handle it? And that's really what we were trying to emphasize today. So I encourage anybody who would like to understand and learn more about how that can be accomplished, how the platform that we've talked about today can meet their individual needs. Every company is going to be a little bit different in their priorities and things like that. But I just encourage you to reach out to us, either through your sales rep, contact Lori, response at rand.com. We'd love to hear from you and really look to help you tailor and craft a solution that meets your business requirements.